Hi, and welcome to the final edition of the Ad Manager Summer Livestream series. My name is Gabby Bricker, and I'm an optimization specialist here at Google. Before we get started, I wanted to highlight a couple of things. First, please ask any questions in the chat box as necessary. If you have questions after the live stream, feel free to leave a comment and we'll answer as soon as possible. Second, this live stream has playback enabled, which means that if you're watching live, you can actually rewind so that if you miss a key point or you want to view a certain slide, you can definitely feel free to jump back as needed. And third, due to technical difficulties, the live streams in Dublin time aren't live, but please leave your questions in the comments box and we'll be sure to answer them as soon as possible. So let's get started. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about viewability. So we're going to talk about what viewability is, how you can improve it, why it's important, and how to go ahead and report on it. We're going to also have a Q&A session. So if we don't answer your question today and you leave a question in the comment box, we'll definitely respond as soon as possible. So what is viewability and why is it important? Viewability is a measure of how many of your impressions are viewable. So an impression is considered viewable when it has appeared within a user's browser and has the opportunity to be seen. So active view reporting in Ad Manager provides data to inform you of the number of viewable impressions your site has generated. The Interactive Advertising Bureau, or the IAB, defines a viewable impression as an ad with the following criteria. For display ads, 50% of the ad's pixels are visible in the browser window for a continuous second. For larger ads greater than 242,000 pixels, 30% of the ad's pixels are visible in the browser window. And the third criteria is for in-stream video ads, 50% of the ad's pixels must be visible in the browser window for a continuous 2 seconds. So you might be thinking, okay, great, thanks for explaining that, Gabby, but why is viewability important? So delivering viewable ads is valuable to everyone in the advertising ecosystem. And there's a few different reasons. So one, it can provide a better viewing experience for your users because when ads play on screen and load quickly, people have a better user experience and they can actually engage with the ad to learn about relevant brands and products. Second, for advertisers, higher viewability can drive better results and add more value for their brand. It can also help marketers understand ad efficiency and allocate spend to the most valuable media. Third, viewability can also help you increase your revenue. So advertisers can see you, and as a publisher, see your viewability rates for individual ad units, and they may make bidding decisions based on these rates. So currently there's an increasing demand for viewable impressions, and publishers with higher viewability rates will actually see more demand for their inventory. And based on our analysis, we see that click-through rate and CPM have a really strong positive correlation with viewability. So usually if you increase your viewability, you're actually likely to see an increase in your CPM. And typically across the board, we see if a publisher is able to increase their viewability by 1%, they actually are able to see an uplift about 2% in their CPMs. And earlier this year, we took another look at the impact of viewability on CPMs. So to do this, we calculated an inventory's predicted probability of being viewable. So predicted probability is an estimate of how likely a given impression will be measured as viewable when it's shown. The analysis found that inventory with a predicted probability greater than 50% saw 26% higher CPMs than inventory with a less than 50% predicted probability of being viewable. So really, to significantly increase your CPMs, you should definitely consider increasing your viewability. So viewability can also help you tap into a strong demand source. Right now, only 42% of impressions in the marketplace are being seen. So really what that means is 58% of the market is made up of impressions that are not seen. And since last year, the percentage of viewable impressions rose by 2% from 40% to 42%. However, average publisher viewability dropped from about 44% to 41%. So the IAB recommends a viewability rate of about 70%, and currently only 10% of domains are able to achieve this target. So advertisers and buyers are increasingly looking to purchase ads that are more viewable. So publishers who can reach this target are more likely to see higher demand. So if you can ensure better than average viewability for your site, you'll have a distinct advantage in the marketplace as buyers continue to filter out unviewed impressions. So now that we've discussed the importance of viewability, let's talk about ways to actually go ahead and improve that viewability. So first, we recommend focusing on creating captivating content to capture your viewers' attention. So this is really at the heart of any successful site or app. We recently ran a report called The State of Ad Viewability, and we found that content categories that are known for holding viewers' attention, like games, arts and entertainment, and shopping, tend to have a higher viewability and suggest a higher interest in ads from these content categories. So definitely be smart about the content that you're creating. Second, we recommend increasing your page speed. So improving your page and app speed to help content and ads load more quickly. Increasing the speed at which your ads load can dramatically increase the viewability of your ad inventory. When ads load faster, people are less likely to leave your site before viewing an ad. And there's a couple ways that you guys can go ahead and optimize for speed and responsiveness. So one way that we recommend going ahead and doing this is with a tool called Page Speed Insights. So this will analyze the content of your web page, and then it generates suggestions based off of your web page to reduce latency and make the page load faster. Another option here is to use the AMP format to ensure that your website is fast and is thinking user first. You can also use progressive web apps to offer an app-like experience on mobile web that loads quickly and seamlessly. Another option is to use analytic solutions like app speed reports to measure how fast app pages are loading and how long different requests take to load in your app. Another option is to explore lazy loading for article pages. So this means when you're waiting to load the ad and serve an ad until someone scrolls down further on your page. Infinite scroll is also a form of lazy loading. And this happens when the browser's scroll bar keeps scrolling but never reaches the bottom of the page, which causes the page to grow with additional content. So lazy loading and infinite scroll can increase the speed of your site, can reduce load time and latency, and can improve viewability of your ads. Lastly, we recommend minimizing passbacks. Ads tend to load more slowly when ad calls are passed from one ad server to another through a system called passbacks. The fewer passbacks that happen, the faster your ads can load, which can help increase those viewability rates. Also recommend looking at building responsive designs. So not only is the type of content you place on your pages important, but it's also important how you display that content. So building responsive designs into your site or app to provide a great user experience, no matter where someone's watching your content or what device they're using. As people tend to spend more time on mobile, it's increasingly important to optimize for the mobile format. So a report that we recently ran shows that ad viewability is significantly higher on mobile and tablet than on desktop. You'll also want to make sure that you're using the right ad sizes that will give you a higher viewability score. So vertical ads are the most viewable as they tend to stay on the screen for the longest amount of time. While above the fold ads on average have higher viewability rates, below the fold ads still have significant viewability. So as you continue to increase your viewability rates, keep in mind that you might reach a point of diminishing returns as you pass that 70 to 70% viewability threshold. This can be triggered by pages that have multiple high viewability units on the same page, as the user can only click on one. In some cases, it can be like photo pages that the user may see an ad but not click on it as they're engaging in other activity on the page. And you'll also want to place ads where viewers are looking and have a high opportunity to be seen. So first, identify where viewers spend time on your site and place ads in those sections. The most viewable ad position is actually right above the fold, not at the very top of the page. So take some time to really understand your user behavior, and don't rule out below the fold ads as well. 47% of display ads are viewable below the fold. So consider identifying where users are spending their time on certain pages and placing ads in those locations. Google Analytics can actually be a great tool for this. And to test, the placement, you can also try moving ad units higher on your website and app to understand if making those changes does actually increase your viewability rate. Another option to help improve your viewability is to use a sticky or an anchor ad. So sticky and anchor ads can help to improve your viewability for both your web and your mobile inventory. Sticky ads are ads that stick on the right-hand rail of your page on desktop and don't move out of view even as the user scrolls. And on mobile, they typically function at the bottom of the page and are called an anchor ad. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure that any of these sticky units, whether it's on mobile or desktop, that they're not blocking your content, because if they are, it could violate some of the better ad standards. So you should make sure to thoroughly A/B test your sticky ad unit performance before implementing the unit across any site or app. So overall, the best practices here, you want to aim for a viewability rate of 70+% for your top performing ad units. To get there, you want to follow our best viewability practices. So reduce page length. One fold means less scrolling and more viewable ads. If you have longer form content, definitely enable infinite scroll. Focus on the position of your ads. The most viewable position for an ad is right above the fold. So try to have at least one ad unit there. Vertical sizes. Use the right ad sizes to get the most amount of viewability. A great vertical ad size, for example, is a 160 by 600. And create content that holds a user's attention. And lastly, increase your page speed. Sites that load faster have a higher viewability. So use Google's mobile web speed toolkit to go ahead and test your site and see where you can improve your performance. Keep in mind that advertisers can see viewability rates at an ad unit level. So the viewability rate on your Ad Manager homepage card, is an average of all of your ad units combined. So use this rate to be a directional indication of what your overall inventory viewability is. And when making viewability decisions, keep in mind that you might want to keep ad units with lower viewability rates running if they generate that incremental revenue for you. So for example, a banner at the bottom of your page will likely have a lower viewability than an ad unit at the top of your page. This could cause your overall viewability to decrease, but since advertisers see viewability on an ad unit level, keeping the bottom ad unit will not hurt bidding on your higher viewability ad units. Additionally, the bottom ad unit could be generating valuable incremental impressions to help boost your revenue. So now that we've gone through best practices, let's talk a little bit about how to actually report on viewability in your Ad Manager account. So in Ad Manager, you'll use active view metrics to measure your viewability performance. If you're interested in understanding important active view reporting metrics, please visit our Google Ad Manager Help Center and search for active view reporting. That will give you a little more information about active view, measurable impressions, viewable impressions, measurable rates, viewable rates, and the difference between all of those all of those definitions. So active view and viewability. Let's talk through an example of active view. So eligible impressions are those that are associated with an active view enabled ad tag that have successfully communicated with Google servers. Measurable impressions are those that are out of all eligible impressions can actually be measured with active view technology. Viewable impressions are those that out of all measurable impressions were considered viewable based on Media Rating Council standards. So Media Rating Council standards are ads that are in the viewable space of the browser window where greater than or equal to 50% of the pixels in the ad were on an in-focus browser tab on the viewable space of the browser page, and the time of pixels were shown was greater than or equal to 1 continuous second. So in this example, out of all of our 1 million served impressions, 90K are eligible, 80K are measurable, and 350K are viewable. So what does this mean? So to calculate your measurable percentage, look at the number of measurable impressions compared to the number of eligible impressions. So when we divide the two, we find that our measurable percentage is 88.88%. So this means that active view is able to evaluate about 89% of your inventory. Now, to calculate the viewable percentage, look at the viewable impressions compared to the measurable impressions. When we divide the two, we get 43.75%. So really this means that about 44% of your measurable impressions are viewable. And let's talk about some Ad Manager viewability reporting pro tips. So you can use Ad Manager reports to help you better understand your viewability and ways to optimize the viewability of your inventory. So you can look at different device types, ad units, placements, and then figure out, where you can actually make the most impact on that viewability score. So one way to do this is to identify common themes in your inventory. So when pulling reports, you're going to want to combine different dimensions to identify potential pockets of inventory for improvement. So for example, you can run Ad Manager reports to understand your viewability and filter by dimensions including creative size to see if one size may be dragging down viewability numbers. You could filter by ad unit to see if certain sections of the site are particularly troublesome, and by custom criteria, so you can separate out above the fold versus below the fold to see where you might need the most improvement on your site. Another option here is to calculate your viewability. You can divide active view measured impressions by active view viewed impressions to see the same viewability percentage that buyers target against. And then here are a couple ways that you can leverage the Ad Exchange historical reports to better understand the viewability of your inventory. So viewability across inventory, you can go ahead, leverage the Ad Exchange historical report to understand which inventory segments have low viewability. Viewability across devices. So this is also an Ad Exchange historical report, and you can use this to understand if viewability is low on mobile, desktop, tablet, one or the other, all of them. It's a great report to run. Another option is viewability below the fold and above the fold. Again, this is going to be on Ad Exchange Historical, and it will just help you understand where ads are performing in terms of viewability above the fold and below the fold. And you also have an option to run a report for viewability by creative size. This is going to help you, or I think we had talked about this earlier, but larger creative sizes tend to perform better. So this is going to help you understand how creative sizes that run in your units perform. And we will also be sending out an implementation guide after the live stream that will walk you through exactly how to pull each of these reports in your account. So a little bit more about reporting on viewability. Once you've generated your report, you might want to export it to a spreadsheet to get a better image of your data. Compare the ad impressions and active viewable metric to pinpoint ad units with a high number of impressions but a low viewability. This is where you can make the most impact. By making changes to these ad units and improving their viewability rates, this is where you're going to see the highest increase in your CPMs and thus your highest increase in your ad revenue. So now we're going to get to the Q&A portion. It looks like we already have a couple questions. I am going to just pull up my laptop to make sure I'm getting any new questions answered. So far, it looks like one of the first questions is, what's the typical viewability rate you see for your partners, or what's the average? So that's a great question. While we say aim for that 70% plus metric, what we typically see in this quarter, this day and age, is about a 40 to 60% viewability score. So if you have that score, you're in the average, but we do recommend focusing on trying to get to that 70% mark. Okay, second question. Will an ad at the top of a home page on mobile devices help to increase viewability? So another great question. While ad units at the top of a page do tend to be higher, like we had mentioned, you want to get closer to the fold, especially on a mobile device. What tends to happen on mobile devices, if the page takes a long time to load, think about how a user interacts with your interface. A lot of times, if the page is taking a while to load, they might already start scrolling. So if you have an ad unit at that very top of the page, the user might have already scrolled past it before it had time to load. So you do want to get closer to the fold. That way, if somebody does start to scroll the minute the page loads, your ad has enough time to actually load before it's off the screen and does not count as a viewable ad unit. Hopefully that helps. And it doesn't look like there's any other questions for now. If you do have any other questions, definitely feel free to write them in the comment box and we will get to them as soon as possible. Thank you all so much for your continued participation in the summer live stream series. We are going to be sending out a follow-up survey, and we would really love any feedback that you have for us, the good, the bad, the ugly. Feedback is so important to us because it helps us know if the content we're covering is important to you, if we're answering the right questions. So please fill out that feedback survey. And thank you again so much for joining our summer live stream series. We were so happy to be able to do this. And happy publishing. Thanks again. Bye.